Quest 8, the Fire Mage. The orcs of the Black Mountains have been using fire magic in their raids. Balor, the Fire Mage, is thought to be responsible for helping them. No fire magic can harm Balor, and the Emperor's wizards are unable to counter his spells. You have therefore been chosen to enter his lair deep beneath Blackfire Crag. The Emperor will reward each hero with 100 gold coins for Balor's destruction. Okay, we've got Heroquest set up here. This is the Fire Mage. A couple things have happened since the party last was out there running around. Biggest thing is that the elf, Lulabelle, now has a short bow, so she can use 3 dice to hit anything within sight. However, she cannot attack a figure that's right next to her. Okay, so these guys have got to defeat the Fire Mage. And one little change I'm going to make is I'm going to have everybody roll for initiative. So essentially, when we're in a fight, both sides will roll. Party will roll die 6, the monsters will roll, and whoever gets the first will be able to move first. So we'll just throw that in as a little house rule, just to make it more interesting. In the game itself, the initiative is determined by where people are sitting at the table. And I kind of ran this backwards earlier. Essentially, the monsters would get the last go, so they get beat up pretty bad. This way, it makes it pretty challenging for the party if the monsters get to go first. So we'll just try to make it fair and roll the die for each one. Okay, party's going to start, and we're going to keep doing the old 5 movement. 2, 3, 4, 5. Movement is something in this game that I'm not totally convinced is well thought out. So just move at the rate of the dwarf and call it good. Okay, and everybody moves. We'll put the dwarf in the front row, and we'll move them on around here. Oh, there's a zombie here. Okay, we'll come to the zombie. We gotta fight him first. We put the wizards always second in line, and we'll put the elf at the back because the elf has that bow that can defend. And they run into this zombie here. Let's get a game, not the game card. This guy. Here we go. And the monster cards. Okay. Oh, my cat's here. So the zombie, let's roll for initiative. Zombie rolls first with 6. Party gets a 3. We'll re-roll tied. So zombie gets to go, even though they're slow. And a zombie has an attack of 2. Let's go ahead with those 2. I didn't hear a roll. Let's try it again. 2 attacks. Okay, 2 hits. On the dwarf. Ow. The cat has got long claws. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Dwarf has... What did we say for the armor of the dwarf? Oh, the dwarf had that set of armor, that plate mail. Let me pull up the inventory here. Yeah, Borin's suit, and also that had a helm. So let's see what the okay. Well, gosh, here we go. Hero boards: elf, dwarf, defensive 2, and then we throw in the plate mail. That's 3, 4, and the helmet is 5. So 5 die for the dwarf to defend. I'm going to write that down here real quick. Ow, I got a cat that's trying to... Lead belly. So 5. And Chuck has 2. Chuck the barbarian. Okie doke. 5 die. So 2 attacks hit. The dwarf defends with 5 and easily defends. The dwarf is becoming really tough in this. Okay, dwarf gets to go, and the dwarf has a battle axe. And let's just go back again and see the battle axe has a 4 combat die that he hits with. Hits with 4. The zombie defends, so 3 hits, and the zombie defends at 3. So if the zombie gets 3 shields, nope, none. So that gets rid of the zombie. And we'll get to restack the deck because I've been using it here a little bit, playing around. Now, draw a card. Jewels, 50 gold pieces. Okay. Party has some money. Okay, so we can take those. At least we didn't get a wandering monster. Oh, I got to figure out what the wandering monster is for this game. The wandering monster in the Fire Mage. Whoop, there's my schedule for the week. Is a female. Okay. Could be kind of tough. And maybe this will be a little bit easier game. Some of the last two modules have been tough. Okay, everybody moves. We'll just go again. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll say the zombie doesn't spring the trap. Party goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zombie goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the party goes. So the dwarf will get to go first. Another zombie. Everybody there? Okay. And yeah, we'll just roll for initiative. Okay, zombie gets a 4, party gets a 1. So zombie gets to go. And the zombie's going to roll a attack die of 2. Okay, that's a hits with 1. And oh, wow. Gosh, I wish I would have had an offensive like that. That could have wiped about anybody out. So that was the dwarf's defense. So the dwarf takes a hit point of damage. BP. Oh, no. Everybody's off on their BPs. Shoot. Okay, we can fix that. So we're going to kill the hero and put a new one out. Our heroes are... There's a dwarf. Kill the hero. There's our wizard. And kill the hero. Sorry about that, folks. And an elf. And I try to keep these playthroughs as unscripted as possible. So bear with me. I've had a couple folks say, yeah, you go back and you change stuff and it really confuses me. And I really apologize for that if it does. But I do feel like going through and editing the playthroughs probably makes them a little bit, I guess it makes them easier to understand. But on the other hand, I think it also makes them a little less organic. So plus I get lazy. Honestly, by the time I've gotten a playthrough done, I usually go through and I'll play the game 5 times. I'll learn the game. I'll play it through 5 times. I'll do the rule set and edit all that and edit the background. And I tell you, by the 5th playthrough on most of these games, I'm really ready to move on. And plus trying to turn out 52 games a year, the time constraints go through. So that's probably why I don't edit the playthroughs. I apologize if they seem kind of rough. I don't mean them to be that way, but I don't know. It's just a question of time. So again, if they seem kind of messy, I'm sorry. Okay, as the dwarf goes, hits 1, zombie defends at 3, does not defend, so he's out of there. And we draw a card, and we get a gem. Okay, my pencil went flying because of the cat. Oh, here we go. So we've got a 35 DP gem. Okay. We go to, let's discard that. And the party goes. Now, they could do the door, or they can do this way. Now, there is a trap here. I think they would go waddling into the trap. Let's just see if he decides to go straight through and hit the trap. So we'll say the dwarf on a 1, 2, or 3, he goes this way. On a 4, 5, 6, he goes to the door. Okay, he does, and he springs the trap, and he falls in. And because he's not searching. And in doing so, he takes a hit point of damage. So this puts him at 6. We had 1 for the zombie that hit him, and so he's at 5. And there we go. And he falls in, and we draw a card to see if he checks it out down there. Hazard. Okay, so we're going to say it's a tougher trap. That's what we do. When I said that a trap, like a pit trap, causes another hazard, we'll just... Oops, I should have returned that to the deck. Okay, so we'll just say the dwarf takes a 2nd hit point. 4. Okay, he's able to climb out. Everybody moves back. And we begin the procedure. Peeks in the room. And in the room there are 4 skeletons and the Fire Mage. Now, the Fire Mage is kind of special in that he's going to be able to transport. He can throw Ball of Flame, Firestorm, Tempest, Summon, Orc, Sphere, and Escape. Balor's kind of tough. Balor's a baller. If the hero uses the Escape spell, do not put him into the square until the heroes open the door. So I think what I'm going to have him do is cast some spells and then escape at the last minute. So we'll probably... I think I'll leave the orcs till later. We could use Ball of Flame. Let's do that. Okay, let's roll for initiative. So the party gets a 2, and Balor the Baller gets a 3. Okay, so he casts a spell, and I need to put a... I don't really have an inventory for this guy. So we'll just have to keep track of spells otherwise. So he's going to cast a spell. And what was his spells? Let's just say he does Ball of Flame on the dwarf. So the dwarf, that's a 2 points, but the dwarf can make a save for each one with a 5 or 6. Okay, does not save, so the dwarf takes 2 points. That puts him at 2, and the skeletons can move forward and attack, which they'll do. And a skeleton will attack the dwarf. Let's see, attack die of 2. 2 hits, okay. Dwarf defends at 4. 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, right? 5. Okay, so yeah, easily shrugs it off, but took those 2 points from the fire. Okay, dwarf can now go. And I think as the dwarf, I'm going to go with, we're going to attack with 4. That's easily going to knock the skeleton out, so. The other question is, can somebody, if they eliminate a guy, can they move into the square? That's pretty standard. We're going to say yes. I'm going to make this game a little more mobile. Okay. We go to the second round. Actually, during this round, I think the mage is going to cast, the wizard is going to cast a Water of Healing on the dwarf for 4 body points. So we'll discard that. And that's going to give our dwarf here, put him back up to 6. He gets 6 more body points. So we'll just say they cast the spell. And the conga line of death moves forward. Okay, next round, initiative. Roll for initiative. Party gets a 5. Balor gets a 1. Okay, so dwarf is going to go right to Balor. He's going to move over. Now you can't move over these guys. So so Chuck is going to move in. I don't think I have a clear line of sight. Does line of sight go? It does, actually. I don't know. That just seems kind of... You'd be fighting in a doorway and fire an arrow through it. That doesn't seem right. So we'll just go with... Okay, let's start with the dwarf against Balor. 4. Dwarf gets 2 hits. Balor let's see what Balor has for a defense. Balor has a defense of 5. Ow, he's tough. Okay, so Balor has a defense of 5 and does not make any, so he takes 2 hits. Okay. The Chuck gets to go. Chuck attacks. He only has 3. He has that sword, so yeah. Okay, so Chuck goes with a 3. Doesn't do anything, and then the wizard with his little pokey stick is going to poke at this guy here, the skeleton, and he just gets 1. He does it, and the skeleton has a defense of 2. Roll 2. Does not defend, so he's able to poke the skeleton to death. Yay! Woohoo! Okay. Now the bad guys get a go, and I definitely think Balor's going to get out of there. He's going poof! Uses his little teleportation spell to get out of there. It is up to the skeletons to go, and they're going to both go against the closest, who is Chuck. Skeletons attack with a 2. So he gets 1. Chuck defends with a, let's see, Chuck has a defense of 2 plus 3 plus 4. He's got a hat, and he's got a helm, and I keep calling it a hat. He's got a hat, he's got a baseball cap that's armored, and he's got a shield, which is a trash can lid. So 4. Chuck defends. I'm yapping here. Okay, second guy goes 2. Chuck does not defend, so Chuck takes a hit. So 7. Okie dokie. And that... Oh, okay, we got to fight now. Okay, let's see. Now we go with next round. Roll for initiative. Party gets a 6. Monsters get a 1. We'll put him here. And it's time to go. Let's see. So we start with our dwarf. And the dwarf goes with 4. Gets 2 hits on a skeleton. Skeleton defends at 2. And was able to defend. Which was 1, but there was 2 hits, so 1 hit is he saves, but the other he's gone. Okay, and then finally, Chuck the Barbarian goes with 3 with 1 hit, and skeleton saves. Okay, we go to the next round. Party rolls a 6. Skeletons roll a 5. Leadbelly attacks with his battle axe, gets 2. Skeleton defends, and that's enough for the skeleton. He doesn't have any left to defend from. Didn't roll his little shield, so that's the end. Leadbelly gets to draw a card. A hazard. Suddenly the stone beneath your feet gives way. He falls into a pit trap. Turn to treasure chest. So, he takes another hit. Moving him to 5. Okay, party, then he checks for any other traps, checks for secret doors. Elf comes in, checks for secret doors. Nothing there. And we move to the next room. Peeks in. Zombie. Zombie comes slowly rushing towards him. Let's see what the zombies... Oh, zombie got a 5 for initiative. Party gets a 2, so zombie does rush him and attacks. And I do like the initiative system. I think that's working better. Attack die of 2. Okay. Oh, 2. And the dwarf defends. Leadbelly defends at 5. Okay, takes a hit because he just gets 1 shield. So back to 4 again. Oh, I didn't move anybody here, so Pokemon can't poke with his stick, but hopefully Leadbelly will get this one. It's 1. The skeleton rolls a 2 defense of 3. Oops. Saves for the 1. Okay, roll for initiative for the next round. Party is a 2. Zombie's a 2. Let's do it again. Party's a 4. Zombie's a 5. So zombie gets to go. Does 1 hit. Leadbelly does his little save. And saves. Leadbelly goes. 2 hits. Zombie saves. So yeah, that's enough to send the zombie off. He has a 1 body point. So okie doke. And he just moves into that square. It's we'd see if we draw a card for treasure. Gold. Okay. They find 25 gold coins. So the zombie had some money. Zombie actually had a pretty decent amount of money for a zombie. I was like those games like Oblivion that you play where the wolves always have some money in their little pockets. Okay, we go through the usual drill, and the cat comes back to make more mischief. Ouch. Okay. Party comes in, checks the room. Now we want to figure, are we going to go this way or this way? So we'll say 1, 2, 3 for here. So and the 4, 5, 6 down below. They got a 5, so they're going to go this way. So we're going to get in position. Peek around the corner. Doesn't see anything. Goes here. Comes down to this door. We are going to... He peeks in the room and immediately a skeleton attacks. So party gets a 6. Skeleton gets a 4. So Leadbelly will attack. 2 hits on a skeleton. Skeleton defends for 2. Doesn't. So that sends the skeleton off because he only got 1. He moves in. Okay, now the skeleton can go. Second skeleton moves. And we're going to say this skeleton has a attack of 2. 2 hits. Okay. Leadbelly defends. And he gets 2 defenses. And then we go for the next round of initiative. There went my other pencil. I just keep searching for pencils, and the pencils get knocked on the floor. He can't help himself. Okay. Where was I? Let's do it again. I had a distraction there. Luckily, my kids are old enough that I don't have a distraction for them. Well, they don't even live here anymore. They've grown up and moved out. But I do have 3 cats, and they all 3 can be a mess. I cannot set a war game up. That's one reason I use Vassal so much anymore, is because I can set a game up, play it, and not have it all scattered. I have one cat that will just hone in on a game. The more complex and the more pieces out, the faster he hones in on it. So anyway, I'm yammering. Party gets 6. Skeleton gets a 1. Let's go ahead and go with 3 hits from Leadbelly. So that's enough because the skeleton has only 2 defenses, so there's no way they can make it, so they're gone. And we do the old draw a treasure trap, wandering monster, and these are Famir, so let's pull a Famir out. Monsters. This is a really pretty nice, they've done a nice job with this Vassal module. Like I say, I could set this up. My old game looks pretty ratty. In fact, it's missing quite a few pieces when I bought it, but... And like I've also tried to reproduce it with some STL files that I printed out on my 3D printers. Okay, Famir. Now, would the Famir still have initiative? I'm going to give him roll for initiative again. So the dwarf gets the initiative again. As we can say again, not again. Okay, 2 hits on the Famir. And a Famir has a defense of 3. So it does not defend. So that's actually enough to send the Famir off. we're going to draw for a card again. And we get some gold. 25 gold. No pencil. There we go. Okay, 25 gold. And we do the old search. Everybody comes in, search for traps, search for secret doors. Move on to the next one. Everybody gets into position and peeks through. Skeleton surprises him, but not enough that he gets initiative. So dwarf goes. 3 hits. Skeleton won't be able to defend against all those, so that eliminates the skeleton, because the skeleton only rolls 2, so. Other skeleton moves. I'll say the dwarf can get that spot. Other skeleton moves into place and attacks. Skeleton attacks with 2 die. Both can be hit. The dwarf defends with 5. Defends. Okay, and we go to the next round. Party gets a 3. Skeletons get a 2. Dwarf rolls a 4 for 2 points. Skeleton defends at 2. Does not, and sends the skeleton away. We also draw another card. A gem for 35. And really, I think with the treasure, and I might be interpreting the rule wrong, maybe the treasure should be for each room rather than each encounter, but that's okay. We'll just go with that. He comes down here. Here, peeks through the door, and another skeleton. So we roll for initiative. Party gets a 2, skeleton gets a 3, skeleton comes down here, and the we roll. Let's see. Oh, the skeleton gets to go first. Roll 1, and dwarf gets 5. Dwarf saves. Okay. Dwarf attacks for 1. Skeleton doesn't make it, so skeleton's gone. We draw another card. Potion of Healing. That's kind of nice. Since the dwarf is on point, I will give him the Potion of Healing. Lead Belly. He's got a potion of defense already. Okay. Does Leadbelly decide to go in the spear trap? We're going to say 1, 2, or 3, yes. 4, 5, or 6, no. He does not. So I'm going to say he detects it. He actually, in one moment of clarity, says, hey, there's a trap there. Stay away. Comes around here. Here. And here. And here. And everybody is ready in place. And we go through to this room. Peeks in. Another skeleton. Who gets initiative? Party gets a 6. And skeleton gets a 3, so he rushes in. This guy comes here. Falls in the trap. We're going to just say he decides to fall in the trap. And takes a point of damage. For the wizard. So Oregano, in his zeal, falls in. We're going to say the elf moves here. And then the barbarian Chuck watches behind. Okay, I'm back. I actually had to go get the cat out of the wall. Yeah, this cat's been a naughty cat today, so. And I have to remember where I was. Let's see. These guys got to move. The wizard fell in. Oregano fell in the pit. Did we take away BP? I think we did. I'll just say we did. And is there anything in the pit? Let's see what we can do there. There is a treasure. Okay, we found 15 gold. Okie dokie. And we have to roll to see who goes first. The dwarf goes. Actually, I forget who had initiative. I think these guys... Oh, here comes the cat again. The party had the initiative, I think, in this, if I remember right. So we will let the dwarf go. 2 hits on a skeleton. Skeleton defends, doesn't, so skeleton's gone. And we draw another card, another wandering monster. So that goes back to the treasure deck. And a Famir shows up. Poof, right there. The Famir attacks. It'd be his turn. So Famir attacks with attack die of 3. 2 hits on the dwarf. And dwarf makes 2 defenses. Okay, we go to the next round. Roll for initiative. Party has a 4. Famir has a 5. Famir goes. This guy's still down in the hole. So the dwarf's really the only guy the Famir can attack right here. Okay. Famir rolls a 3, gets 2 hits. Dwarf defends with 1, so the dwarf takes a point of damage. Puts him at 3. Okay. Dwarf gets to go. And with 4, 3 hits against the Famir, and a Famir defends with 3 die. Does all 3 hits hit, so Famir is knocked out. Draw a card, gets some treasure, a hazard. So just then the dwarf goes, let's just say he falls in, he falls into a crack in the floor. Takes a hit point of damage. Down to 2. And everybody else this guy crawls out, and they begin to mill around the room. Now, the dwarf's kind of hurting. So Wizard finally gets out of the pit and casts a healing spell for 4 points. So the dwarf is now back up to 6. And everybody is copacetic there. And I like how all these tiles are different too. That was fun when I did the STL files and printed these out. It was fun painting them, trying to get the same color scheme. So, okay, we'll go back to the old line of death here. And get rid of that. And there's a door here, but there's no way out. This could be a problem. I just realized something. Let me see here. Let's close everything out here. We have an issue. Party started here. They go here. There's nothing, no way through here, no way through here. There's a block there, block there. There's no way to go. Okay, the only way to go through those secret doors. So, I'll say they move their way back. And basically, they're going to have to just check for secret doors the whole way back. So the party does that. Eventually, they make their way back here. And eventually, the elf finds it. Now, if you were playing this with somebody else in real life, this would take a lot of searching to do because there's no other way to get to the eastern part of the dungeon here except through those secret doors. Yeah, that's the only way in is those 2 secret doors. So they do it, peeks in, nothing. They check for traps, nothing. Check for secret doors, find this one. Everybody's over here now because, like I say, we don't have a way. There's a block here, block here, block here, block here. So yeah, that blocks all those off. So yeah, that's the only way through. So now they go here, and a skeleton sees them. Our skeleton has a move of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We roll for initiative. Party gets 4. Skeleton gets a 3. Elf gets to go first. And I'm just going to make this fun. I'm going to say this guy's out here. And when the elf fires a shot, let's just do that just to see what would happen. Yeah, he'll move the full. I guess we'll have to move the full. Now this means that the elf can't use the bow. It would be more fun with the bow, but that's okay. It's not as confusing to folks. I've got to be consistent here. I get kind of carried away. Two hits, okay. Skeleton defends, and the skeleton defends at, where's my... Skeleton defend at 2, and doesn't make it. So the skeleton is gone. We draw a card. Potion of healing. Okay, that potion of healing is going to go to the, passes on to Leadbelly. So now Leadbelly has 2 potions of healing. That may save our bacon later in the game. We discard that. Okay. Now we're going to let the dwarf get back into things. So there's this way. There's this way. Let's see. We're going to say 1, 2, 3 goes this way. 4, 5, 6 goes this way. So they go this way. 1, avoiding a pit trap again. 2, 3. Now am I going to go this way or this way? So we'll go 1, 2, 3 this way. 4, 5, 6 this way. So we're going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these guys make their way down here. And then over here, there's a door. Now, do I want to keep going straight? Or do I want to check the door out? We'll say 1, 2, 3 for the door. Nope. We keep going. Okay. They decide they'll come back to that later. And we get here, and we gotta either straight or 1, 2, 3 for the door. They're gonna go straight. So they go up here. And we'll do the same thing. Now this time they did check out the door. They avoided these little spear traps here so far, which 2 of them in a row, that's vicious. He peeks through. We roll for initiative. Party gets a 6. Monsters get a 3. Party rushes them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he can go there. So now that lets the party go. I definitely think the initiative system works a lot better. It adds a lot. You're not just fighting in a doorway all the time. Okay, let's start with the dwarf. Okay, dwarf has 4, and these are orcs. Gets 2 hits on the orc. The orc has a defense of 2. Fends for 1. So the orc, that sends the orc off to Grumsh. And he'll move into place. Okay, then our barbarian goes. 2 hits. Dwarf defends at 2. And that's, boy, orcs are just about as bad as skeletons here. I think, is there any advantage? Okay, they attack with 1 more. I guess the orcs attack with 1 more, but from a defensive standpoint, the orcs are pretty wimpy. That was it. Okay, they do the old check for traps, and they then check the chest. The dwarf will check the chest. Let's see, what's in the chest is 150 gold pieces and the Wand of Magic. Okay, so we'll add the... We're doing pretty good on... oh, we got to check for check for treasure, too. We did. We got a hazard. Okay. Let's just see who takes the hazard, who falls in. So dwarf is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll just go dwarf 1, Chuck 2, oregano 3, Lulabelle 4. Chuck takes it. Chuck finds the trap. Takes a point of damage. Whoops, puts him at 6, not 1. That was a deadly trap. They open up the chest, and wonder of wonders, the wand of somethings. The wand of great things. Where are my wand? My wand, let's see, Keller's Keep, main gate, hero spells, artifacts, there we go. The Wand of Magic. This magical wand allows the elf or wizard to cast 2 separate and different spells on his turn instead of a single spell. Nice, okay, we will give that to our wizard. I can see them using it a lot more. The elf spells in this game are kind of messy. I'm not sure. I can see how they could be very powerful, but unlike, say, Dungeons and Dragons, where you have to interpret stuff, the DM's interpreting stuff, I don't know if that really works for this game. I'm not sure. I mean, when we played in the past, we used to kind of ignore those because they didn't really help a lot. So, okay, back to the line, and we're going to say he walks right into the spear trap. If on a skull, 1 point on a skull. Rolls a 1, nothing. Okay. So the orc's like, hey, I guess why do they always talk with dumb Scottish accents? You know it, there can't be another trap right here. So he walks right into another trap and gets a skill. God, that was terrible. I apologize to you guys. I kind of quit playing RPGs because of that sort of stuff. So there you go. I sound like groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons. I'll go to the next turn. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go with Lulabelle there, Oregano there, and Chuck back in the back. Okay, we got it. Okay, should we check out this room or go straight? It looks pretty good this way, but checking out the room with a 1, 2, or 3. This is trying to play the solitaire, so you're seeing the solitaire version. They're going to go right to the... They always seem to make the right decisions when they do this, so... Okay. And they pop into this room. Now, this room has... This is the big bad boss room. Party has a 3. Big bad boss has a 6. Ouch. Okay. Peeks his head in and immediately is seen. I'm going to say Big Bad Boss gets to go first. I'll give him the best... Now, he has used his Ball of Flame. We've got Firestorm, Tempest, Summon Orcs, Fear, and Escape. I think the first thing I'll do is cast the Fear spell. We'll cast Fear. And with Fear... hero spells, let's see, air, earth, fire, water. Where's the... Well, we have a problem. Do we have the fear spell? Water spells, fire spells, earth spells, air spells. I do not see a fear spell. Courage, water, chaos spells, hero spells. This could be a problem. I don't see the fear spell. Help me out. Fear, there's fear, but it's in chaos spells. Okay. I guess that's, okay, that's where they would be. So in this spell case, any one hero to become so fearful that his attacks are reduced to 1 combat die. And he has to roll a 6 on his mind points. Okay, let's leave that out. Here we go. So now he's down to 1 die. That could be kind of painful. Okay, and then the mummy. I'm going to let the mummies go. With the mummy can move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess a zombie's going to have to go. And let's see. So the zombie's going to try to attack with 2 die against the dwarf. And does hit 1. The dwarf can defend. Now, defense is always, defense doesn't change. So defense is going to be at a 5. And he defends. And then the party gets to go. So the dwarf is pretty useless in this situation. He's going to move out of the way. And I'm going to say the wizard is going to try to move here, not knowing there's a trap. So does that. Let's roll a 1 to see if... And that is a hit. So the wizard takes a hit from that spear trap at the most inopportune time. And then the wizard is going to have to... Because the wizard just got hurt, they are going to have to... I think going to have to do the Water of Healing here for 4 points, and a hero board for our wizard is Body of 4. So wizard's in kind of a tough spot because even if they get down to half, it's probably worth checking out. Okay, that leaves the elf free to shoot at the zombie with 3 die. Oh, that's enough, and that sends the zombie packing. Okay. We go to the next round. Party gets a 2. Monsters get a 6. Okay. So then I think what we're going to do is Balor the Baller is going to bring in those 4 orcs. Game cards. Let's see. Summon orcs. Oh, we do. We roll a die. Oh my gosh. We roll 1 red die, and out of 1, 2, 3, we get 4. 4 or 5, we get 5, and 6, we get a 6. Okay. We get 5 orcs that are just got in there. Let's see here. Give them some. This is turning nasty really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. Okay. So we have a line of orcs. We have a mummy. Mummy moves into place here. Goes out the door. And now the party can go. So first of all, the dwarf is going to try to save. And the dwarf has how many mind points? 3 mind points. So we roll 3, and on a 6, there we go. Okay, we save. So we're back in business. So I'm going to say that's what the orc did that turn. Actually, that orc still... I think the orc can save and fight. So orc fights with 4, gets 2 against a mummy, and a mummy's going to defend at 4. Defends for 1. So the mummy takes a point. Okay. The wizard with his little stick gets 1. Mummy defends at 4 and defends from it. And then the elf is going to fire an arrow at 3 for 1, and that hits, and that kills the mummy off. Okay. Now we move to the next turn. Party gets a 6, monsters get a 5. So we're going to rush them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We're going to sit. He's going to sit back with and fire spells. 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows. Okay, there we go. And everybody's in place. Actually, let's see. He was back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not in. Well, he is injured, so yeah, he's at 5. Okay. Dwarf gets to go. 4 points on 2 on a zombie. Zombie defends with 3. That's it for the zombie. He can't do anything now. The elf will fire at an orc, and with 3, 1 hit. The orc defends with 2. Does not defend, so the orc is gone. And then the wizard will, let's go inventory. Wizard has a wand of magic, 2 spells on this turn instead of 1. I am going to cast Sleep on Baylor. And I'm going to cast Genie. I'm going to cast Ball of Flame on Baylor. So I can use that now because I can cast 2 spells. Makes the wizard a lot tougher. So this spell puts a monster into sleep so it cannot move, attack, or defend. And they have to roll 1 die. One red die for each of its mind points. Okay. And he's got... How many mind points does he have? 4? Okay. Well, he might make it. Let's see. 7. Oh, he's got 7 mind points. He's a tough one. Okay. That's fine. So we have a sleep on Baylor. And a ball of flame. So first of all, we resolve. He falls asleep. We also resolve the ball of flame for 2 points, and neither of those. So Baylor takes 2 points of damage. He already took 2. Let me double check and see where his Baylor had a body of 3. Oh gosh, that did it. He's a fire mage. I guess he's pretty weak. So. Cast that spell. Baylor is out of action. He took 2 points of damage. There we go. Let's see, because he took 1 up here at the beginning. Remember that? So 0. Destroy monster. Okay. And that was it for the turn. So yeah, they did it. Okay, the sleep spell was superfluous, but that's okay. Now then, we see who goes first. Party gets a 4. Monsters get a 3. Party goes. Dwarf, it's like they have a new boost in morale. They rally, and it's like, cool! Die, you terrible monsters! You wee beasties! Okay, enough of that. Let's see, and then we're going to cast a spell here. Okay, now they're kicking butt and chewing gum. What was the thing? Kicking butt? Nah, I'm all out of bubble. Oh, kicking butt and chewing bubble gum. Yeah, that's right. Okay. The dwarf goes with 4, and he's against an orc. The orc defends at 2. Not enough. So the orc's gone. The barbarian is going to go against with 3, which is 2 hits. And the orc defends and is unable to make it. The elf fires out of the orc for 3, gets 2. That orc goes down. And then finally, the wizard tries to go against the mummy. Wizard's going to use a genie and ball of flames. Okay. So we'll start with the ball of flames. And the ball of flames... Actually, we're going to do genie against the mummy, ball of flames against the orc. Ball of flames, let's do 2 hits. Kills the orc, because they didn't get a 5 or 6. Cast. And the genie uses 5 combat dice to go against the mummy. Gets 2. The mummy defends with 4. Mummy does not defend. Genie dissipates. And we have destroyed the fire wizard. I don't think there's anything else to do. Nope, that's it. There's no treasure or anything. So Baylor was killed off. I guess that ends it. That was kind of exciting. I liked how that ended up. It started out kind of slow, but definitely built up in intensity as we went on. And that final encounter was actually kind of good. It felt like this was actually one that they put some thought into the design of. Anyway, Long kind of video. I'll let you guys go, and we will see you next time. Quest 9, Race Against Time. A guide has led you into an underground maze that is rumored to hold a great secret. He has led you down many dark corridors, and finally you find yourself in a room with 3 doors. Suddenly the guide puts out his torch, and in the darkness you hear him laugh. "Farewell, my heroes!" He sneers as he makes his escape. You realize to your horror that it's a trap. You must escape, make it back to the stairway, or perish in this dark, forgotten hole. So we're alone in the dark here. Actually, there's no rules in the quest thing that say anything about the darkness, so I don't know whether that was supposed to be in there or something, or some sort of challenge. It's not really a real challenging looking dungeon. There's 2 Chaos Warriors, which might be tough, but pretty much the rest of it's a lot of orcs and goblins, so we'll get started here. Now, there are 4 doors out of the room, and we're going to say the elf does it. We're going to do the usual check for traps, check for secret doors, and finds the secret door. I guess what we would do next is peek down here and see what's down here. We see a long hallway with nothing. And then we're going to see, this is 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just roll a die to see which way we go. So 1, 2, we go here. And we will the usual thing here, the dwarf, gosh, and this guy. And they peek in, and they see 2 goblins and an orc. And we roll for initiative. So the party gets a 6, the bad guys get a 4, so the dwarf rushes in. The wizard moves there. And we can now attack. So the dwarf's going to get hit pretty hard, but that's okay. Let's see. Dwarf goes with 4 die. And he's going to go against the toughest guy. That's the orc. Let me move this guy here. And let's move our... There we go. Our hero and monster cards. I always wish that the D&D would have used more monster card kind of things. They kind of came out with that idea a few times, but never really took off. At least in the early days, that would have been nice. I don't know about today. I really haven't played a lot of Dungeons & Dragons in about 6 or 7 years, so haven't played a lot of 5th edition. Kind of, like I say, burned out on role-playing games. Neither here nor there. Okay, let's see. Orc. We attack with 4 with the orc, so that's 3 attacks. Now the orc has a defense of 2, so... Oop, not that guy. This orc is gone. Okay. And then the wizard pokes with 1, which that's going to hit the goblin. The goblin gets to defend with 1. Does not. And again, we poked that mon. Okay, now the goblin, single goblin gets to go. It wasn't good for the goblins. They've got 2 and don't do anything. And then we go to the next turn. Goblins get a 5. Party gets a 2. Goblin, he's pretty desperate. He's going to fight with 2 attack die. Makes 1 against the dwarf. Dwarf defends at 5, so easily defends. And then the dwarf goes with 4 with his battle axe for 1. Goblin defends with 1 defense die. Doesn't make it. So now the heroes can check out the room. And first of all, we got to draw a card. And it is a treasure. Oh, it's a wandering monster, which are Femirs this time. So we return that to the treasure deck. And a Femir drops in. Let's see, I need to get a miniature monster. Femir. There he is. So we'll pop him right in. We roll for initiative. At least this time, the party's getting strong enough. They should be able to take care of these guys. Party gets a 4. Femir gets a 5. So Femir gets to go first with an attack die of 3. Nothing. Okay. Dwarf will go in. We're going to have the barbarian go through. And the elf. Okay. Dwarf attacks with 4. 3 hits. Vimir defends at 3. Makes 1, so that's 2 points that the Vimir takes, which puts him out of action. Do we draw another card? I think we can. And they find 15 gold. I didn't spend any gold last time. Didn't have enough. I think I'm going to save up for maybe enough for the Barbarian to get a little more armor. Okay. Moves in. Checks for traps. Checks for secret doors. Nothing and nothing. And so they move back out here. There's no other doors. Now, where will we go? Let's roll the die. And we'll say 1, 2 for the up north, 3, 4 for over here, and then 5, 6 for down here. And we get a 5. Okay, so I guess the party's going to go this way. And we're just going to move them. Let's see, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, here, and here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And whoops, an orc pops out. So Mr. Orc pops here. We roll for initiative. Party gets a 6. Orc gets a 4. Party goes first. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here. Okay, Orc will go, or the Dwarf will attack the Orc first. Gets a hit, and the Orc defends with 2. And he defends. Okay, the Wizard pokes with the stick. Nothing. Okay, now the Orc gets to go. Makes a hit against the Dwarf. Dwarf will defend at 4. Dwarf defends. Okay, roll for initiative. 3 for the party. 3. We'll go again. 3 for the party. 1 for the Orc. 1 hit with the Dwarf hitting. Orc defends at 2. Nothing. So that Orc is gone. Oh. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and we're closest to that door, so we'll just say we're going to go through it. We'll form our little group. Dwarf peeks in. And this is kind of tough because there's a Chaos Warrior in there. So the party gets a 6. Oh. Chaos Warrior gets a 6. Party gets a 5. Chaos Warrior gets a 3. Okay. Dwarf will go in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Four. And then this guy will go and go. And I don't remember whether... Should they go in adjacent? I'm not sure. Let's go back. Let's take that back. Orc will have to push his way through. And... So there's a goblin. A dwarf. I keep saying orc when I mean dwarf. He's going to the dwarf is going to attack the goblin. So 3 hits. That's easily enough to get rid of the goblin. Moves into the space. And everybody else is outside. Okay, now the Chaos Warrior is going to move. Goblin's going to move. And they're going to attack. Chaos Warrior attacks with 4. Gets 2 hits. Dwarf defends with 5. 1. So the dwarf takes 1 hit. Okay, Goblin goes with... Goblin has 2 attack die, which is 1. Dwarf defends. Nothing. Oh, wow, he made it through. Okay, we go to the next turn. Next round. 2 for the party, 1 for the bad guys. Okay, so the party gets to move. I'm going to say the... this guy gets to go. I think this would not be adjacent. So I'm gonna, since we won't let weapons go through there, I think I'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. Okay. Let's start with the dwarf attacking with 4 die with his axe. So that's 2 against the Chaos Warrior. Chaos Warrior defends with 4. So 1 hit gets through. Okay, next, a bow. I'm going to say he can fire through there. And there's no real line of sight rules in here. I guess there are, but I'll say he can make it. 3. So 2 hits through. Chaos Warrior defends at 4, and that's enough to do the Chaos Warrior in. And then let's just say the guy pokes with the sorcerer pokes, gets 1 hit in, and the goblin defends with 1, doesn't make it. So the goblin's gone, and we draw a hazard card. Now I'm going to say the wizard was the one that stepped in here and sprained his ankle. We'll just say he sprained his ankle. So 3 hit points. They check for secret doors. They check for traps. Nothing. And they decide to move on. Now, they're not doing too bad. Okay, peeks in. And there's another 2 Femur in here. Femur get a 3. Party gets a 4. So party moves in. Dwarf moves in. Dwarf attacks with 3. The Femur defends with how many die? 3 die. So the Femur takes 2. That eliminates him. Okay, Femur is going to move here so he can move and attack. And a Femur attacks with 3. Gets 2 in. The dwarf defends with 5. And that he's got two shields, so he defends. Okay. We go to the next turn. Party gets a 6. Man, the party's winning these initiative rolls. Femur gets a 4. So I'm going to say he moves here. And the barbarian moves into place. And the wizard can fight through that door. Okay. Let's start with the dwarf. Dwarf attacks with 3. Femur defends with 3 die. Nothing. So that's the end of the Femur. And we draw a card, and we find a 35 gold piece gem. Okie doke. We will keep moving. Check for traps. Check for secret doors. Nothing and nothing. We move to the next door. They peek in, and nothing is there. They go in. Repeat the usual. We come over here. We do the same thing. Nothing and nothing. Come into this room. And in this room, we do find 2 orcs. We'll roll for initiative. Orcs get it. Let's go party first. 3. Orcs get a 5. So the orcs get a go. First orc steps up and attacks the dwarf. They have an attack of 3. Oh, 3 hits on the dwarf. Dwarf defends for 1. So the dwarf takes 2. Okay. First of all, the dwarf will go. And that's easily enough to kill the orc. The wizard will go, and the wizard's going to spend a spell for water healing. So the dwarf will be back up to 7. Okay. Next turn. 5 for the party, 6 for the orcs. Orc moves into place and attacks. 2 hits on the dwarf. Dwarf defends at 4. Dwarf makes 1 successful save and takes 1 damage. So now the dwarf is at 6. Okay. Dwarf's going to fight back. Actually, let's let the pokey guy go first, just to feel good. Nothing. Okay, now the dwarf can go. Gets one hit through, and the orc defends at 2 and makes the 1 save. Okay, we go to the next turn. 3 for the party, 3 for the orcs, 5 for the party, 2 for the orcs. Okay. Dwarf go. Let's go with the wizard with his stick. 1 hit. Okay, and the orc's going to try to defend that. Does. Okay. Axe from the orc. From the dwarf. I keep calling the orc the dwarf. Dwarf gets 2, and the orc defends at 2. And that will be in the end of the orc. So that orc's gone. Draw and find some gold. 25 gold. Okay. So, party gets more gold. And they move into this area here. The dwarf will check the chest for traps. And let's see. And I've got to roll to see if he sets it off. I think there is a trap in here. Let's see. B, the treasure. Oh, each treasure chest contains 100 gold coins, but there's no trap. It's in this next room. So the party finds 200 gold pieces. Nice. Okie doke. They find the secret door. The elf moves in, and the elf immediately runs into a Chaos Warrior. Chaos Warrior rolls for initiative and gets the party rolls for 3. I always try to make the party first. Chaos Warrior gets a 6. Chaos Warrior attacks with 4 die. 3 hits on the elf. Now the elf has... let me see if the elf has anything. Oh, nope. Nothing special. Elf's usually not in combat. So defense of 2. So 2 die. Makes 1, so the elf takes 2 hit points of damage. Okay, now it's the party's turn to go. We'll start with the wizard. I think the wizard's going to go first, and the wizard's going to use... the wizard can cast 2 spells at the same time. And I'm going to go with a genie and a ball of flame against a Chaos Warrior. So the genie does attacks at 5. Oof. Okay. And the Chaos Warrior defends at 4. Now that's 3 hits. So it's going to come out 1. They saved 1, but they have 2 hits that hit. So that's the Chaos Warrior. Change BP to 1. And then the spell inflicts 2 body points. You roll for each one. If it's a 5 or 6, doesn't count. So we'll roll for the first one on the Chaos Warrior. Nope. Okay, and that's enough. So that does 1 point. We could roll for the second. That'd be a negative. So discard card, discard card. And we move into here. We'll set the dwarf here. He's going to check for traps. And there was a trap. Let's see here. This chest has a trap with a poisonous gas. If a hero searches for treasure before the trap is disarmed, he will lose 3 body points. And inside the chest is the artifact calling the elixir of life. Okay, we're going to see if he gets a skull. If he gets a skull, he takes it. If not, the dwarf does. If not, then he disarms it. He does. He does fine. So he disarms it, and the elixir of life. Let's give it to a character here. I'd say the barbarian takes it. Game cards, artifacts, elixir of life. Where are you? Main game. Small bottle. Let's see. Restores all body and mind points. Well, it's not great, but that'll work. Okay. Now then, the party is going to... They basically reached a dead end, so they're going to have to backtrack all the way around here. So they go through this room, this room, this room, this room, this room, back to the hallway, and then they go around this way, And they're going to set this orc off. Let's put him back in order. And the orc goes with a 8. So let's see who goes first. Initiative. The party gets a 3. Orc gets a 4. So the orc comes and attacks. And he does it with 3 attack die, which 2 have hit. Dwarf defends and defends entirely. Okay, dwarf fights back. Gets 2 hits against the orc. The orc defends with 2 die. And that's enough. Okay. We draw a card and get a wandering monster. So it's going to be a Fimir. We'll say the Fimir comes out of the dark here. And party gets a 4. Fimir gets a 1. So the Fimir, so the party goes. So the dwarf goes again. 3 hits. Fimir defends with 3 die. Nothing. Okay, so the Fimir's gone. We draw another card. Potion of Defense. And he's going to send that over to Chuck. And now we need to decide, do we go down this way or this way? So we're going to say going north is a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, 5, 6 to go east. So we go north. We go up here. Surprising another orc. Now they called this a race against time, but I don't think there's really a time constraint on it, that would have been more interesting if they would have put some sort of time constraint. Okay. Party gets 4. Orc gets a 1. Orc party attacks with 4, and that will send the orc away. We draw a card and get another wandering monster. So it's another Fimir. Pops out of the dark. And let's see. We roll for initiative again. Party gets a 2. Fimir gets a 6. Fimir attacks with 3. Gets 1. Dwarf makes his save. Saves. Okay, we go to next turn. 4 for the party. 5 for the Fimir. So the Fimir is going to attack again. It's 2 hits. Dwarf saves. Nothing. Okay, so the dwarf takes 2 more hits. So dwarf is now at 4. Dwarf attacks. Gets 1. Fimir defends. Nothing. Okay, so the Fimir takes 1. And then the other party members can go. The wizard's gonna toss another fire spell across. Ball of flame. And the Fimir gets to make his saving throws. Makes neither of them. So the Fimir is gone. And we draw another one. And it's a gem for 35 gold pieces. And I think I'm playing this wrong. I don't think you draw a second draw after the initial one. I think you can only draw 1 after a combat. But that's okay. I think it makes it, again, a little more challenging for everybody. Raises the stakes a little bit, so I'm good. Okay, we go back here. Peek in the room, nothing. And then we're going to go repeat the process. Here, we peek in the room. Again, this is one of the things about solitaire play. I can speed things up quite a bit. We peek in the room, and we see some orcs standing there, waiting. And the orcs, we roll the party, rolls an initiative of 3. The orcs roll a 5, so the orcs move into place. They've basically got a bunch of orcs to get through. And the first orc goes against the first orc is going to go against the dwarf. It's 1. The dwarf tries to save and does so. Okay. Dwarf will attack first with 4, misses, and the wizard is going to throw a ball of flame. I'm going to use my 2 spells. One I'm going to use to help the dwarf out. The other I'm going to use to attack this orc. So first of all, we'll discard that, and we'll discard that. And so the dwarf gains 4 points from the healing spell. I think our dwarf had a body of 7, yeah. So we can't go above that. So that's okay. And then the orc has to make a save. It makes 1, so the orc doesn't save on the other one. So the fireball sends him flaming. So a flaming orc. Okay, next round. 1 for the party, 6 for the orcs. Again, we'll do move into place. They're just going to move into place to die. That's just what they're programmed to do. So the orc's going to go with 3, 1. So the dwarf has to save. Does so. Okay. I don't think there's much else. I guess he could cast a sleep spell. I don't think we're going to have to worry about casting a sleep spell. Dwarf's going to go with 4. Gets 1 hit point. And the orc defends at 2. Does not defend. So that's it for the orc. Okay. Party gets a 1. Orcs get a 6. Orc moves into place. Orc attacks. Gets 3. Dwarf defends and it saves for 1, but the other 2 go through. Okay. And I think this is a fairly elegant combat system, really. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. So now the orc can get, or the dwarf can go. I think that's where we're at. Gets 2 hits. Orc saves. Saves for 1. The other one goes through. And Pokemon can't do anything. I'm going to say he can move in. Okay, we go for our next round. 3 for the party, 2 for the orcs. He moves in and pokes. Nothing. Okay. Dwarf moves with 4, gets 3 hits, so that's enough to eliminate him. And we draw and get a wandering monster. So hiding in the room was a Femir. And let's see, Femir, I'll let the Femir go. Give him a little bit of a break. Femir attacks with 3 against the orc, or the dwarf. The dwarf defends at 5, doesn't make it, and takes a hit. Okay, now we can roll for initiative. 2 for the party, 6 for the Femir. Femir rolls a attack of 3, gets 1 through, but the dwarf defends. Okay, party gets to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just let him go here. And we'll start with the dwarf. Dwarf attacks with 4, gets 3. Femir defends with 3. Nothing. So the Femir is gone. And we'll draw again. Finds 50 gold pieces of jewels. Okay. We discard that. We look around, we don't find anything, and at last we come into this room, the green room. We peek through that door, and up the stairs we go to finally leave the Dungeon of Doom. Okay, that's what I've got. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This has been a lot of fun to do. I'm sorry if it gets a little confusing at times. Hopefully, if you've never played this before, it's kind of making sense from what I do. I mean, I'm doing enough repetition that you should see some fairly consistent things going on. So anyway, I will see you guys next week, and we will do 2 more of these. Thanks. Bye.